At Thanksgiving dinner, my mother tapped her glass twice, the way she always did when she wanted the whole room to look at Lily. The chatter dropped instantly. She smiled, that rehearsed, polished smile, and said loudly, "Lily's wedding was lovely. So, Kat, when's yours?" A few people laughed. My father kept carving the turkey like it required urgent concentration. Lily didn't say a word. She just watched me, chew carefully. I set my fork down, slowly. "I already had mine," I said, "6 months ago." The silence hit the table like a blunt force. "And you got invitations?" My father blinked. We never got anything, Kat." I reached into my bag, pulled out my phone, placed it gently on the table, and said, "Then it's time for everyone to see the truth." And right there, at that perfect-looking dinner table, everything they had buried for years was about to surface. Growing up in my family was strange. Not because we were poor or loud or broken in obvious ways. The problem was never noise. The problem was silence. My family adored symmetry. Perfect photos, perfect milestones, perfect stories crafted for outsiders to admire. And in every single one of those stories, Lily was the center. I didn't grow up bitter. I grew up invisible. When Lily won a medal, there were dinners, flash photos, long Facebook posts. When I won a science fair ribbon, my mother would say, "Sweetie, we'll take a picture later. The light is perfect right now for Lily's new headshot." Eventually, it stopped being coincidence. It became a pattern, then a system, and finally, a family rule. And I learned how to adapt, how to shrink, how to be useful, not celebrated, present, but never seen. Then Seattle happened. Moving 3 hours away wasn't rebellion. It was oxygen. My apartment had huge windows, overwatered plants, stacks of my research notes, and the constant smell of coffee, Ethan's fault. And for the first time in my life, a sense of belonging. Ethan, he saw me in ways my family never tried to. He remembered things. He paid attention. He cared about pieces of me no one in my childhood ever noticed. His family, too, was different. Warm, still, present. When Helen hugged me for the first time, she didn't pull away quickly the way my mother does, as if checking off a task. Helen held on. She asked about my work and remembered the details when we met again. It was simple, but the simplicity made it profound. So when Ethan proposed on that foggy coastline morning, I said yes instantly. We wanted a small wedding. Real, intimate, nothing performative, nothing polished for public approval. I only had one quiet wish, that my family would show up. Just once. Just this one time. I designed the invitations myself, chose the paper, hand-lettered the envelopes, printed them early, used signature required delivery because I knew how easily things got lost in my parents' house. I tracked every package like it was a living thing. When all of them showed as delivered, I finally breathed. But then, silence. Not the kind of silence that comes from busyness, the kind that sinks in, spreads, and answers questions you don't want to ask. I waited. 1 day, nothing. 2 days, nothing. A week, nothing. I tried to soothe myself. They're just busy. They probably haven't seen them yet. Maybe they're planning something. But my family's silence was never empty. It was a kind of silence that worked like water damage, creeping, quiet, and unavoidable. When I called my mother, she didn't answer. I texted my father. He replied, "I'll call later." He never did. And when I opened a family group chat, my name wasn't there anymore. No notification of removal, no explanation. I wasn't kicked out loudly. I was erased quietly. And that hurt in a way I didn't expect. One night, while I was washing dishes, I mumbled to Ethan, "Maybe the mail got mixed up or something." But my voice shook. He turned off the faucet, dried his hands, looked at me, and asked, "Kat, did any of them respond at all, even once?" I shook my head. He didn't push. He didn't judge. He only said, "Let's check the logs. There might be something." I would have never thought to do that. But once we opened the email activity history, it was undeniable. My save the date email from April, marked as opened, then immediately deleted. Device ID from my parents' house. My hands went cold, but the worst part was still ahead. I opened the tracking receipts. 4 packages, 4 confirmed deliveries, 4 signatures. I zoomed in on the first one, and my stomach dropped. It was Lily's handwriting. That rounded, practiced signature she used on everything. I recognized the curl of the L instantly. And suddenly, every piece fell perfectly into place. She was planning a massive September wedding, hundreds of guests, everything custom, her entire identity orbiting the spotlight. My quiet little June wedding, even with just a few people, threatened that spotlight. And Lily did not share attention. Not as a child, not as a teenager, not now. Her world was a spotlight, and she guarded it like a territory. That night, something old inside me cracked, not in anger, but in clarity. And with that clarity came a decision. I would go to Thanksgiving, and I would take every truth with me. When I walked into the house, everything looked like a magazine photo shoot. White tablecloths, candlelight, the smell of turkey and tension. Lily posed by the fireplace. Her husband fixed a loose strand of her hair. My father looked exhausted before dinner even started. My mother narrated Lily's September wedding as if it was a royal event. No one asked about Seattle. No one asked about my work. No one asked about my life. It was like slipping back into the role I'd always had, the shadow. Then the glass tapped. The comment dropped. The laughter followed. And this time, I didn't shrink. I already had my wedding. Silence. My father's knife froze. My mother's smile died. Lily turned to stone. "And you received invitations." My father stuttered, "Kat, we never saw anything." I placed my phone in the center of the table. The screen lit up. 4 signatures. Zoomed. Rotated. Lily's signature filled the screen. My mother gasped. My father leaned closer, as if the truth only counted if he saw it up close. Lily's husband glanced at her, confused, maybe betrayed. Lily didn't move, not even a blink. I slid to the email log. It showed 1 open, 1 deletion, all from her device. My father asked, "Who has access to that account?" Everyone already knew. Lily tried. I maybe grabbed the mail without thinking. I don't know. You always make Kat look like she's perfect." And then she cracked. She makes everyone feel guilty, small, like she doesn't even have to try. That wasn't about the invitations. It was about every year before them. My father tried to deny blame. My mother defended Lily instantly, but I didn't need their agreement anymore. I looked around that table at the people I had spent a lifetime trying to earn love from and said softly, I didn't lose my family tonight. I just stopped pretending I had one. My mother reached out. Kat, don't say that. Why not? Because it threatens the story you built? The one where Lily is perfect, Dad is neutral, you're the peacemaker, and I'm the problem. My father whispered, We never said that. You didn't need to. You showed it. I stood. My chair scraped the floor just a little. My father said, Kat, don't go. We can talk. We are talking. For the first time, honestly. I picked up my coat. You didn't miss my wedding. You chose not to see it. I opened the door and stepped outside, not slamming it, just closing it firmly. Not anger, clarity. Not an ending, a beginning. When I reached my home, Ethan opened the door before I even touched the handle. One look at my face was enough. He didn't ask what happened. He just wrapped his arms around me and held me while the shaking left my body. The next morning, his parents invited us over for a simple breakfast. Warm food, real conversation, no tension, no performance. At one point, Helen took my hand and said, You're family here, not because you married my son, but because you matter. A week later, my father mailed me one of my wedding invitations. He found it buried in a storage box. He didn't include a note, didn't apologize, but it was the closest thing to truth he had ever sent me. My mother never reached out, and for the first time, that absence didn't feel like a wound. It felt like an answer. I used to believe family was something you protect, no matter the cost. But now I understand family is the people who show up, the ones who listen, the ones who stay. And sometimes the bravest thing you will ever do is walk away from a table where you were never given a seat. If any part of this felt familiar, tell me where you're watching from. And if you want to hear the next story, hit subscribe.